Welcome to the Las Vegasville podcast, brought to you by Jump Studios, where we cover topics related to everything happening around Sin City, including the social media scene, food, and a whole lot more, with some of the best, most popular accounts around the city, and talk about their success in Vegas and beyond. I'm your host, Philip Zhang, aka Las Vegas Phil. Check me out on IG or TikTok, and feel free to text or leave me a voicemail at 702-551-4445. On with the show. All right, welcome to this week's episode. This episode is one that's near and dear to my heart. Let's sit back a little and think to what food social media was like in 2014, 15, 16, before TikTok, before the word influencer even existed, before IG stories even existed. You would post up without captions, but during those days, there was a key group of people that blazed the path for what food social media is in Las Vegas today. People nowadays think I'm old school, but honestly, the people we have here are the ones that inspired me to do this. So what better way to get the inside view on how it all happened, many of the meteoric rises to popularity, and how it shaped what's going on today. I'd like to welcome the group one by one with handles and names, and I'll refer to you guys by the handle as we talk. It's going to be a challenge for me, but that's okay with the listeners, that don't know who we are. They can find you later. So going from left to right, we have Savor Sin City, Terry. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Phil. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. Ninja the Foodie. Yeah, who inspired me. We met through Yelp a long time ago. It's
many millennia ago.
Yeah, I remember walking through Cosmo with you one time, and everyone's just like, "Holy shit, Ninja's here!" So,
Really?
yeah. Eat Me Las Vegas. We've been longtime friends.
Yes, back at the Yelp days.
Back in the Yelp days. Mr. Paul Ryu Sauce himself, formerly Ryu 1075.
Oh my God!
That's a throwback. Oh my God.
That's
Yeah. I was like, what is that number?
Yeah. What's the significance?
I'm surprised you remember the numbers.
Yeah.
1075. You're right. That is right.
And you changed it when you had 10K.
No, you know what? You know why I changed it? It's because we were at an event, and Ed, right? He was doing a story or like a little clip, and he's like, "Here's Happy Tommy, and here's Savor Sin City, and here's Ryu 645." That's literally the minute I'm like, you know what? I gotta change my name immediately. Like, so.
I like it now.
I like how you brought that up. That left field there.
What a trip, right? Susie Hendricks, Happy Tommy 702. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this is fun. And then finally, last but not least, Andy Maiden, Las Vegas Drew. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you so much for inviting me and the rest of us here for like an alma mater event.
Yeah, this is a trip. I mean, when was the last time all you guys saw each other?
It's been a while.
COVID.
Yeah. Pre-COVID for sure. It's been a couple years.
Do you remember? I think it's like literally going back to Craft Kitchen event or something, like one of those.
Perhaps, yeah.
Absolutely,
Oh,
Craft
maybe your
Kitchen,
birthday.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. The big one,
Right.
yeah.
That was big.
Which
Yeah.
I was just talking to Phil about that
That was an
event
event.
that Phil joined us for the first time, which was that Bell's Barbecue.
I remember
Yeah.
that. Because he was like,
we were
what
all-
the heck?
All of us were there.
People
And
standing on chairs
Right.
doing the aerial shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
That's right.
because just FYI, this magazine is 5 years old.
Is it now?
That's insane.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I can't believe
So then
Almost to the day.
almost to the day. This issue is August 3rd to the 9th, 2017.
Wow.
So
Wow, that's crazy.
was that towards the end? Like Bell's Barbecue was before that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah, way
sure.
before.
But your birthday event was after this?
Oh
Yeah.
no,
That was before.
Way
The
before.
big 3-0, right?
Mhm.
It was before. I know it was even before I had 5K.
Yo,
Yeah.
Followers?
Yes.
Oh, I was like 2,500 maybe. Like not even that, right? I was like tiny.
Yeah.
Every time I see that issue, I'm just like, wow. Because that was such a fun, crazy, unique event that I don't think,
Experience.
for me, I don't think I'll ever top that because I don't think any of us ever thought that we would be in a magazine, let alone.
I was just
like,
excited to do a whole food
Food
fight.
fight.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
never.
yeah.
That was
For
like my
sure.
dream
Yeah.
come true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked like a super fun time. And I mean, we all kind of knew the momentum and what was happening, but I think for a lot of people, that cover of Las Vegas Weekly and the feature, specifically with people in the restaurant industry, like writers, PR and marketing, who still didn't believe social media was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of ways, that cover was a big fucking deal.
Mm-hmm.
We can kind of go into who wasn't included and why, specifically some people like Drew, Unlocked, and May, Vegas Dining. But looking back on the whole thing, I mean, to be part of that shoot, what was that experience like for you guys?
Okay, so is that one of the first times where I thought that I was legitimately being recognized for something that we're doing right. Until then, it felt like just fucking around. And it just made it more, it was, okay, right around then was when the money was coming, right? Like, like money was coming around the corner. We kind of felt it.
I think shortly after. Right?
Some people were already making some money, I think. And
I think that was definitely a turning point for a lot of us. I mean, not me
For sure.
specifically, but I think up until that point, we were just like this gang that got invited to events all the time. And it was just such a fun social time because we would see each other all the time. And sometimes we would have events like back to back. Like we would see each other on Friday. We'd see each other on Saturday, sometimes twice on the same day. And the
4
next
times
day.
a week.
Yeah, and it was
realizing
just,
how big it was.
right. And it was just, for me at the time, it was just something fun to do. And it was never, I didn't start off thinking this is going to become something that I'm going to make a living at, or anything like that. We just did it because it was fun. And we were just so excited to be invited to these things and be fed for free, So.
I think it was the network and camaraderie that
Right.
allowed everybody to get back together. It was kind of like a new family, so to speak.
Yeah.
And as you pointed out, 3, 4, 5 times a week we would all get together. And, my waist size, of course, got bigger and bigger as we ate more and more food. But for those of us who actually really enjoyed doing this, it also complemented your real career. And I'm going to say real career because some of us actually have not focused on this foodie or Instagramming or social media. We have other jobs.
Right.
And it actually has enhanced my real job because people are like, I remember you. You're the guy who
Right.
sings in your car to coffee cups. There's things like that. So.
Right.
Well, I think it's so interesting because now that this is my full-time job, I was always in marketing, but this has kind of transitioned. I still think of it as my hobby. When I'm not at work,
Right.
when I go out to dinner with friends, or if I'm going to an event, I still think of it as just a hobby, not my job.
And it's not a job.
Not-
It's
yeah,
what you
so
enjoy.
I think
Yeah.
that's really interesting.
I think this was one of the first moments where I realized that the big guys are now paying attention to the little guys, to me. Like there was a lot of traditional media people that we were just getting so much attention. In the beginning, it seemed like we were just creating this momentum just by us going to these local little restaurants and doing our little thing, and we're creating that momentum. But it kind of like proved that other people are watching when this happened. You know what I mean? And after that, I don't know about you guys, is when people started actually really recognizing us.
Yeah.
So our
Right.
face.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of our faces weren't in our
No.
content by then.
Yep.
These kind of things put our faces out there a little bit, and
Or half face.
Right.
half
We're
face.
hairs in there. So. Well, and that was the first time when that Las Vegas Weekly article came out. That was the first time people at my full-time job realized that I had this other
little gig on the
things
side.
that
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Totally.
so I was like, oh, I've been outed.
because every single one of us posted on our feed,
Right.
and the
Mhm.
face was getting out, and every one of us. Also, didn't we get the 1-page deal on Las
Yeah.
Vegas magazine on
Yeah.
top of this at the
Right.
same
The
time?
profile.
It was
You got the
kind of
profile.
a
Yeah, I
lobby
think
deal.
there was two. There was actually more than one Las Vegas Weekly feature. I think
Yeah.
there was like an intro, and then we got the cover,
And then there was
a
like
Each
feature.
week there was
Oh,
somebody,
right.
yeah.
major,
Right.
That
Right.
was that's those 3 things: PR,
Mm-hmm.
and I always say this in the beginning. It was always the traditional media companies and PR people that got us out there,
Yeah.
and
For
those are
sure.
the people that I owe it to get my face out there and get my name out there.
For
But
sure.
man, this was. Remember the shoot?
Yeah.
Yes.
The shoot was so
So
fun.
So much fun.
There was just tables of
Yeah.
donuts and whipped cream and ice cream and
Shaving cream.
yeah, shaving cream, right? And we all kind of dressed alike. We
It's
all
almost
wore
like there has
colors
not been
and-
an
yeah.
epic photo shoot like that with all the
No.
creators in one doing something like that,
Yeah.
because we're all in food. Now, why not
Yeah.
a food fight? It's a
Right.
great idea.
Yeah.
Let's do it downstairs.
Paul, you
Yeah.
have a studio.
We
You
need to
must
have a
do it.
reunion. We need to
That kind of
have
fell
a
on me.
reunion.
I just, as I'm saying that,
2.0.
saying
I'm
it fell,
not,
it
I'm
fell
not
on me.
offering to
For
clean
sure.
up after that one.
But But I think, if you're saying that was 5 years ago, which I can't believe, I think that was at the time that really people started to realize the power of marketing and Instagram.
Mhm.
When you had such a free platform, right? And people started really to take advantage of that. I mean, as far as restaurants and businesses. Now we think we just take it for granted that if you don't have an Instagram account for your business, why don't you? You
And
know?
especially Emily, you and I both come from marketing communication backgrounds, and so when this was starting to at the peak, it was convincing businesses that it was a non-traditional way of marketing your business, and they were very skeptical in the beginning. They still were like,
For sure.
really? I just
Why?
need
They're
to.
skeptical
Why should I do
today.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Just
There's-
yesterday.
Yeah. It's come a long way in a short
Right.
period of time.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us went into our accounts even from the beginning as, hey, I am gonna become an influencer,
no.
a
Right.
creator.
Absolutely.
That wasn't
I
even
still
an
say that.
idea.
that's-
Like,
I
what
think
is that
that's where
word?
it has
right?
changed
Yeah.
to nowadays because
That-
I think there's a very different
Mhm.
motivation
That's what I mean.
from what we were
Oh, yeah.
just doing it to have fun.
I still
Right.
say that in my
Yeah.
pitch today.
Yeah.
I still tell people, what's different about our agency, the founders that started this, is because we went into this without even thinking about making
Without
money.
any idea about what we were doing. It was
And
because it was fun.
And just
And we were
FYI, when I
together,
look at
you
the
know.
bigger guys like Susie and all those guys in LA, at the end of the day, if you look at serious content creators, they
Mhm.
I can tell that these people are in it for the content
Right.
over any
Right.
money, fame, like that comes with it.
Yeah.
These guys are super dedicated to content, and that's what I see the difference between them and 70% of the creator
Right.
world out
It's so different now, for sure.
So how did it all start? I mean, who actually made the first post dedicated? Was it Drew
there.
to like promote food?
Drew's account was definitely, I think, there before anyone else's, but he was a repost account in the very beginning.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
believe.
He didn't
Oh,
do
yeah,
his
that's
own.
right.
He didn't do his
Unlock.
own.
But it's
Posted
because
others.
he wasn't the
Smart.
only one with
Right.
that
Smart.
with that account.
I tagged Unlock
It was
every
him.
single post.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when my account, prior to it being in Las Vegas, I actually was just my personal account, and I entered a contest on Unlocked in 2014, and I won to go to dinner like on Valentine's Day.
And you got a T-shirt.
Like, yeah. So I remember being there, and I was like, "This is so exciting!" And I was just like,
And
it was before I was even doing like the food Instagram. I was taking photos, but it was totally different.
Yeah.
I went to 8 East in Circa. It's a noodle house. The chef there used to be the chef at Nosh and Schwig. Do you remember Nosh?
Oh
That's
my
where
God. Yeah.
She
That's
won
where
the
it was.
contest there. I learned about Nosh and Schwig
Yeah.
from downloading Unlocked app
Uh-huh.
when it was
It
nothing
wasn't
but an
enough.
app,
Yeah.
right? And I remember being the coolest app because I'm so into food. I just want to know these off the strip spots that kind of locals go to that are like
Mhm.
Nosh and Schwig, by the way, at the time was way ahead of their time. I feel like it was one side Schwig, one side Nosh.
Mhm.
Great food. But I remember going through that whole experience as a foodie, downloading Unlocked app, finding out the Nosh and Swig, and her winning the contest from Unlocked, and then figuring out Unlocked this Instagram account when I moved over. Like, I knew Susie first before anybody from Food Spotting, which is an
Right.
app that was Tara
And
was
that's
on
how
it.
that's how I remember meeting you is through Susie, because she said, I know this guy Paul, he's on this other app
was-
and he's got tons of.
Do you know who else
You
was
know.
on that? Was Tazine.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tazine was their
Yes.
fantastic food.
Yeah.
Who also came to Instagram a little later.
Uh-huh.
But me just going from there to there and just being and then running into Unlocked and getting invited by Unlocked to come out to the
Right.
event.
Mhm.
That's my start of. Right before that, there was a Best Food Las Vegas, by the way.
Yeah.
That I was reading. So there's Freddie and Tony. But I think for me, that's the
And
start.
Mimi.
And Mimi.
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
for us it was Vegas Dining. It was May who
Yeah.
invited us to our first event, I think. You know.
Yeah, she. I remember I ate at Baby Stacks, and she reposted my picture, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I couldn't believe it, and but I think we all just kind of started our accounts at various times,
Mhm.
and then we just kind of slowly through just found each other.
Mhm.
Me and Terry and Nins, I remember our dinner at Cleo.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we
That's
had
so
all.
I remember that.
That's a-
Yeah, with Selena.
I remember that
We
photo of the flat lay of that table.
Right.
because it's a Cleo.
It's
on
like,
it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But do you remember how dark it was in there?
It was so dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was before lights, right?
Before
Yes.
like
Yes.
Before
Yeah.
It was
Which is
before
a big
lights.
point because Vegas
Right.
guys started with lights
Yeah.
early, but that was even before that.
Yeah.
We that was when we just decided, hey, we're gonna dedicate this one account to just food.
I think you
go,
told me about
let's
it.
go and eat. And so we did. And I still remember somebody has a picture. I know it was a booth, a couple that was just looking at us like,
What the
what the
heck?
hell are these
Because
people
we were
doing?
seated like in the middle, and there were
Yes.
booths around us, and I distinctly remember that too.
Yes.
As well. There was the 4 of us. It was the 3 of us plus his friend Selena, and we were taking photos. And I think we actually had to break out a light. It was somebody's phone, and people were just staring.
And I was scared because
Yeah.
I remember you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna get on top of this, this chair." Don't do it! Don't do it! I don't want you to fall on the table. I
Yeah.
think someone did, right?
No, you had to get that shot that I'm
'Cause it
thinking
was an
about.
overhead
It was a
shot.
whole
It wasn't
slab,
an
aerial,
like
yeah.
a 3/4 of a table.
Yeah.
It was.
Mhm.
It was.
Okay, it was me.
It was you.
It was
I'm
you.
gonna blame you for this whole thing.
And then Madison from 1-7 had that event with the cube lights.
The little.
Oh, that's
was a
right.
blue
And that
light.
was
It was a
that
blue
was
light
that
on
was
the-
really.
It was not a light. It was
we
a blue
loved
light
it.
on a table.
I
And we're
used
like,
that
oh,
thing
oh,
forever.
remember that?
Yep.
All you guys did.
And
Yeah.
we thought that was like, wow.
And then
this
we
is
all-
life changing.
And then Cube started making a lot of
Yeah.
money. Remember?
Because
Yes.
people were like,
Stopped
"What
the
is
Cube.
that?" Right.
Exactly.
I want
that cube.
The
Right.
Cube was selling like hotcakes in Vegas for a little bit.
So what were some of the other restaurants you guys blew up back then?
I know Hearthstone was
Hearthstone,
a big one.
yeah.
Janga
Mhm.
Jaga, yeah.
was like the epitome of like that sushi burger was all because of you guys. That was the starting point of my career.
Still now.
What was
Yeah.
the other?
I remember that
sushi-
conversation trying to figure out what to.
I don't think
to
they're around
create.
anymore. That
Which one?
sushi burrito place.
Oh,
Job burritos.
Oh.
Job
Yeah.
burritos.
Job
burritos,
yeah.
Are they
I
still
remember
around?
we were
I
there
think
a
they have
lot.
like one location maybe.
I think we were at Hakkasan more than once.
Yeah.
Lots of
Many
times.
times
Okay,
Hakkasan, yeah.
One I do remember was the infamous post of the creme brulee cracking.
Oh
wow.
god!
The bunny-
Yes,
the
the
bunny
donut
manicure.
bar.
That
Don't
was
know.
the
For
sure.
story
That was-
of
yeah.
how, where, what account gets
Yeah.
what post and what content, whose content it is,
Right.
was like the very start of us figuring out the
Yeah.
etiquettes and the rules.
Right.
Right.
And we
Whose
didn't
account
know.
is that?
So,
Yeah.
here's the thing, that donut bar, it really made me learn for the very first time, because when we posted, we literally, I feel like
Mhm.
majority of us posted a food or something because 1, we enjoyed it, but 2, it wasn't like, oh, I wonder how many likes I'm gonna get, how
Right.
many comments I'm gonna get.
Mhm.
We just literally
Mhm.
just wanted to
Right.
share it.
Right.
And that's what me and Ninzer did. We were like, wow, a new donut spot is
Yeah.
opening up. Let's go check it out. And we just wanted to, that was when Instagram first rolled out with 15-second videos.
Mm.
Still
Yes.
square, not even
Yeah.
Yep.
long. And
Yep.
so me and Ninzer were like, hey, instead of a picture,
Let's-
why don't we do a video?
Exactly.
And I remember it was like 9:00 in the morning.
Yes, very early.
And so we were like, wow, this one looks different. And we did. But it was the first time after it went up that I learned about like virality.
Virality.
Right.
Virality. Because Food Insider took it because I think they just made a compilation of all
Mhm.
like creme brulee donuts
Mhm.
that other places sold and stuff.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, we would have never guessed or had any idea that it would spread like that. Even Donut Bar was just shocked.
I remember the nail. I remember the
Bunny.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
I remember
nails
that.
became very
The
important.
bunny.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
when nails
Yeah.
became a point.
Nails became a thing.
Yeah.
And Minnie Rogers.
Yeah.
learned
For
her.
sure. Yeah.
Famous hand
Career.
model.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's so many things right then and there.
But here's
that,
the thing, that's what we're talking about. The difference is we went in there with no intention.
Nope.
No intention
And
of, what it
Adding
is
to
now.
that, it was more an intent of getting people off the street. Remember, we were
Right.
really about the
Off strip,
local
yeah,
food
locals.
that's
Yes.
off the
Mhm.
strip.
All the
So
small
sure.
people who didn't have these huge PR accounts,
Right.
and I think still to this day, I think that's
We
important
still
to me.
support
That's the
that.
stem
You know,
of it
because
all, right?
everyone knows who has money and who doesn't,
Mhm.
and who needs the help and who doesn't,
We kept going to local restaurants that kept going out of business, and they're
Craft
the best.
kitchen.
Craft
Yeah.
kitchen.
Craft
Kitchen
Kitchen
was one of the
was-
first.
yeah.
Yeah.
So great, and we were showing results after results after results of those places blowing up, and that's what we really. So I think it was Drew in the beginning that was really resonating with me was how he cared about Vegas followers on his accounts. He would constantly show it to me like, Paul, look, it's like it's like all Vegas.
Mhm.
That's what you need. I don't need a global audience because if I want to move some needles over here at a local restaurant in Vegas, I need as many as Vegas people as possible, and that's been the whole focus of our entire career is geo-targeting,
Right.
with these influencers. And
I think talking about that too, what I've always told people is that we've been blessed because Las Vegas is a small town. And because us as a group, when we started, it was easy for us to move together to all these places and for people to get to know us because it's a small town. I don't think it would have worked in LA or New York or a bigger market, you know?
I think it's something that we have to hold very high. Okay, so the way that we got together and made a one big group rather than, and I think we did that because we saw other bigger cities have this hate towards clickiness and stuff like that, and we kind of like valued that there was one big
It was a
group
family.
here.
Yeah.
Because we really supported each other.
Yeah.
But you guys and finding that and doing that has actually resonated in this town till now.
Yeah, totally.
The fact that we need to have a one happy
Yeah.
big group, because at the end of the day, if somebody actually needs to press that button, we all do come. I would say that's hard to do in other cities, but in Vegas, still till this day, with everybody involved and everybody doing their thing, everybody killing it. If Drew really needed something, right, and then we all we would do it.
We also
that's a really cool
we
thing.
work together, and I think what's nice about it is that we're not competitive with one another. I mean, if that's the shot you're going to get, that's the shot you're going to get. I mean, that's the way it was. We work together because without each other, we wouldn't be here.
Right. And I remember Andy saying that because I think we were at Laurie's one time or that was also a great event.
Yeah.
Going to Laurie's.
Ribeye or
Yeah.
prime rib.
Yeah, exactly. And you were always so helpful to me because I've never had a big account and I'm fine with that. That's just the way it is, and because it's still to me still a hobby. But I would always just love the way that you take your photos and I would ask you things and you were just so generous. It was never like, oh, I'm not going to show you.
Exactly.
And anybody, it would always be like that.
We
it's
work
like,
together.
Yeah, and I never felt like you're better than me, and and stuff. And I think that is something that I'll always be grateful for as we started out because we all started out together and we just like we said, we didn't know what we were doing. We're just having fun.
We're
I
all
have
doing
one specific shot. It's actually with Susie. I don't know where we were, but we were doing like a overhead shot, and we were trying to compose arranging the plates and whatnot. And she told me to get the shot that I want, we should try to space them out correctly. And she was the one that told me don't have the plates touching each other because it's gonna be too crowded. And every time I take pictures now, I instinctively think, okay, are they touching each other? And I make a conscious effort to separate them at least an inch or two apart. And it works. And
to
that's
this
the shot
day.
that we get.
To this day, when I'm
Oh.
staging my photos, I pull everything apart so they don't touch.
Do you remember after a while, Susie would just have her own area?
She
It
did.
was okay. It was okay.
I swear to God, I would
Oh
see
my
Susie
God.
come with
Where's
all of her
Susie?
equipment
Right.
She's over
and
there.
go way over there and just set up. And every single time anybody looked over there, it was perfect.
Yes.
And I'm like,
There's the money
Were we at
shot.
the same
That's the
place?
shot.
Did this happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, were we at the same place? Because I don't remember that.
And I think everyone was so respectful, to let her do her
Yeah.
thing, and we all did our thing. No one was trying to be competitive and try to
No.
get the shot or whatever, because we were all just helping each other.
We all were there for one reason, but we all are very unique in what we are known for. I mean, there's aerials, there's separations, there's finger food. I mean, every one of us has a little bit of niche, but we're all going to get a different perspective of that particular item.
And Ninja used to have a table in his car.
Yes, Linzer's tables.
To carry around. I mean, talk
And
about.
now we all do.
So yeah, going back to Drew, I mean, it would be insane to not talk about the impact that Drew Belcher, aka Unlocked, has had not just on the group but the entire city. He was the top dog then, and remarkably, through his amazing foresight, drive, and determination, he's still the top dog now. So let's give a shout out to him. What are your thoughts about Drew and what's been going on with him?
I feel like of everyone, I feel like he brought a lot of us together. A lot of the events were hosted by him. I mean, I think Unlocked invited me to my first big event, and that's where I met a lot of people. So I owe a lot to that.
Yeah.
In the beginning, a huge percentage was in Unlocked invite. The other was in PR.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We didn't have our own clients back then. We were just happy to go to these events and support whenever we were called upon. And I'm almost sure that everybody in this table almost did not have to write a random DM to a restaurant saying, "Hi, I'm this person. I want to come and eat." Like we've never. That's how good it was in the beginning. It was just 100% incoming. A lot of that was true, but that's how we got to know all the cool people. And more than the events and the opportunities that we had, what I appreciate the most is the relationship that we got going to those events, meeting those people, meeting those restaurant owners, and getting referrals from them and stuff like that. And I think that's like the most important thing for me. I always remember like how I got here. You know, how did I get out there? I was by far the smallest follower account out of all the people.
Oh, I thought you were talking about height.
Yeah. Same thing. But I was just glad to be out there. I tagged all those people every single time. Best for Las Vegas, Unlocked, and all those people hoping to get reposted every single time.
I think what's great about Drew is that he's always been one who's been totally transparent. He's honest. He marches to his own drum. I mean, the man is sporting a mullet. Come on. He does what he wants to do, but he has influenced us all in one way or the other. And I do recall following him, like you said, you know, I started following him on Instagram. It was pretty cool and started tagging him. And he reached out to me and says, "Would you like to be a part of our upcoming Hearthstone event?" And as I'll be quite honest with you, I ran out of T-shirts, so I'll get you one next time. I'm still waiting for that T-shirt. I never got it.
I still have mine.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never got
So
one.
cool.
But
I was gonna say I'm still waiting for my
It's
T-shirt.
so
Baseball
exciting.
style.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
I
has
love
our
it.
name
The
on
jersey
it.
was
that.
black and white,
Yeah.
right? And it had
I
our
remember
handle
that.
on the
That's
back.
amazing.
I have that shirt.
Yeah, I still have
Somewhere.
that.
That's so
I know I
cool.
have
Yeah.
that shirt somewhere. I do
Yeah.
remember that.
It just felt so special. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm somebody now. I'm part of a clique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, just FYI, just on record, long time ago, before a lot of this started, me, Terry, and Susie were on this team that was like in a battle against Vegas and Do you remember this?
Yeah. The food battle.
It was a foodie battle
Oh,
at
I heard about that.
El
Dorado
Dorado.
Cantina Taco
Right.
when they first opened.
The Sapphire Parking Lot.
It was done by Alexander Lords and it was done by Refine Agency,
Right.
I think, and it was like and then they invited 3 teams of 3 or 4 people from LA.
Mhm.
Hungry Hugh was there,
Yeah.
who we work with now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, and other LA guys that
Tanaya,
we
was
still
it Tanaya there?
Yeah,
That's how we
yes,
used
they
Tanaya?
were
Yeah.
we still mess with.
Oh my
Right.
God.
We're in these
Yeah.
teams, right? And it was 2 teams from Vegas. One team was us and May.
Yeah.
I was devastated
And
because
the
I was
other one
supposed to
was-
be on that team
Wasn't
and I couldn't
Ed?
make it.
It was Ed,
Was Ozzy?
Oz,
Oz,
Oh my
yes.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Mimi was
And
on the
Mimi,
team,
yeah.
but she got delayed in a plane.
Oh no, yeah. There was another person that should be on our team. I think it was Mimi,
It was
but
Mimi.
she couldn't make it,
Yeah.
so it was just us 3.
Yeah.
And we won that.
We won. It was our team.
I remember that was like pretty much my start of the foodie career. Like
Yeah.
when I knew, I'm like, oh, our photos are
Right.
good,
Yeah.
are good to go.
And there's the
Got a golden
competition.
taco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got the
Our
golden
prize.
taco.
Yeah.
Where is a golden taco? Should
Maybe
frame it
May
there.
I
has
don't have it.
May has to
May.
have it.
Because
We
May
got,
was on
we got
our
a
team.
gift certificate. I had that for years.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That was crazy. See, those kind of things that happened long time ago. I forget them all the time. Like this.
You keep addressing that.
Seriously, that's why this
Should
is
we just
happening.
look
It's
through it?
5-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an article on how to take the perfect Instagram photo.
Are you
I
serious?
was reading that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not relevant now.
I
Yeah,
think everyone
yeah.
said to take it outside because no one had. Yeah.
It was
no one had-
always the lighting.
Oh my God,
That's
we
what
always
learned
would
right
take the
away.
food and run out of the restaurant and go out into the parking lot.
In the Cosmo, remember? We would go to the Cosmo all the time, and Susie and I would be
Oh,
we
yeah.
would be in the
Secret
hallway
area,
somewhere.
Yeah.
We went
Right?
out to the
To the
outside
pool.
Who
Yeah.
went to
Yeah.
the seersucker event? I don't know.
Holy
I-
shit!
I-
Seriously.
We
I
were
remember
there.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went outside and
That's
all
how
the
we
tourists,
met
Yeah.
Lexi.
Yeah.
all the tourists
Yeah,
were looking
Lexi
at
killed.
us with plates of different plates and taking pictures of them outside. And
The manager's just going,
Yeah.
What are you
"What?"
guys
Yeah.
doing?
Why, like, where are you going with that plate?
We still
Yeah,
get
we-
those
We're supposed to
plates.
bring people
Right.
into the restaurant, not take them out of the restaurant.
So shout out to a lot of the big foodies that weren't able to make it today. Tony Camblin, aka Still Not a Foodie, LV, now NY, famous for his potato chip reviews. And what are some of the other good memories of Tony that anyone has?
Shotgun, my favorite shotgun, dude. That's the best one. He would put his food in the shotgun and belt him up and my
Yes.
favorite shotgun. I still
Oh,
do
that's
that.
right.
Oh, yeah.
I still put my food,
Everybody rides
put
shotgun,
the
yeah.
belt on it, and
Yeah.
my favorite shotgun. I love that shit.
What about our trip to Southern
Oh,
California?
that was so fun.
A bunch
Django.
of us went down. Well, a bunch of us,
Yeah.
including Tony and May,
Yeah.
we all went down
What
to
a cool
Southern
bonding trip.
California.
That was really,
Yeah.
and we met up with that. So
Yeah,
the
was
LA
cool.
we
foodies
met up with
there.
Andy
All those
Wynn
spots.
and Hungry Hugh. Was it?
Hungry Hugh
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Paul.
Drew was there,
Yeah.
right?
Paul's food hall.
Yeah, Drew was there. Yeah, that was fun.
Tony always took the fastest pictures.
Yeah.
Because he didn't like overthink it like the rest of us did.
Right.
He just took
He's
it,
like, "I'm done."
and then we were all still taking pictures, and he was just like started eating.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
remember that.
You also noticed that he utilized his camera, not a phone like a lot of us are using a phone. He used that camera like it was like his third leg. Sorry, Tom.
Tony is one of the few foodies who has gone hiking with us more than once. So I do miss him. And I remember we went up to some pinnacle and he pulled out an Egg McMuffin. I'm like, always the foodie.
Ready to go.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many. There's
Yeah.
there's Amy Linda.
Yeah.
Melinda for
Uh,
sure.
Photos
you
by
know,
Amy
Her
Linda.
photos
Yeah.
are
That's
awesome.
She's
Las
really the
Vegas is
OG.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
would consider.
I've
Amy
gone to a
Linda.
lot of
Yeah.
events because of Amy Linda
Yeah.
and her
I've
relationship.
known
Because
her
she was
one of
the
longest.
Yeah.
she's the food
From New York,
photographer.
Yeah.
You know, and
From Yelp, you know.
CC, Las Vegas Moms, who's on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cece,
it's been a long time. Yeah.
Sammy.
Well, then there's
The
Sammy,
next-
Lindsay.
yeah,
the
right?
next-
That,
yeah,
that was like
Amber.
that's like the big
Right.
Amber,
And
Yeah.
Roma,
And
Mhm.
Phil.
right?
I
And then
remember when
Phil.
Phil was my plus one.
This
to
is
things.
when
Yeah.
Vegas,
That was
this is when
right?
May
No
and Drew
kidding.
started doing their own content.
Yeah.
by
Oh, we
this
got to
time now.
mention Ed. Vegas
Yeah.
Tours.
Oh, Ed, yeah.
Well, Ed's
Yeah,
there.
Vegas Food
Ed's in
Baron,
the
shout
cover.
out.
Yeah.
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 One of the first ones I met as well.
Yeah, he would lie down on the pavement to get shots,
Yeah.
do some incredible things. He was
Is this you?
influencers in the wild before
Yeah.
influencers in the wild.
That's right.
So shout out to Ed. Who else? Ozzy,
Aussie.
Oz in Vegas. And then one random question that someone shot to me was for Las Vegas Drew. Why don't you do more carpool karaoke, videos now?
You know, it's interesting you bring that up because it was 7 years ago that I did my first car karaoke. And then I formed a company called TikTok. I wish, because if you look at TikTok today, all it is basically just
Yep.
karaoke and people
Way ahead of
singing.
your time.
Way ahead. But
And the voiceovers.
That would have
Yeah.
been perfect. Yeah.
For sure.
yeah, I could have done it. I think it was. It's fun to do those at the time, but you know how long it takes to put one of those things
was the
together.
Put in a lot of
Imagine.
Yeah.
wigs,
Wigs and
filters.
Costumes.
people used to always ask me, "Is like, did you get pulled over for that big martini glass that you were drinking in the car? If you really think that I had alcohol sitting in that car?" But I want to really thank. I want to thank KFC on Rainbow and let's see, Robindale, because that was the parking lot I would always go to in the morning and back up because I had the perfect light. So that I could get that, because the light would always be too extreme. So I would set that phone up in my car, and it was just the perfect light. And I know people were getting out to go work at KFC and would like, what the hell? And I'm sitting there singing with my coffee and everything,
And the
Your friend
wig.
made their
and the
day.
wigs, pulling out wigs and everything else like that.
I mean,
so.
that edit. What did you use? Premiere for that? It was so good.
It
The
was
editing
really
was
good.
so amazing.
Yeah.
I
I think the first one was the one that you enjoyed. Is
the best.
chain
Oh,
the chain
so
smokers.
good.
Remember?
This-
That was my
I'm
first.
telling you, we should revive those and
I do it
those
Flashback
on TikTok
Fridays. I do
Yeah.
Flashback
every
Fridays.
single time
Yeah.
because it's so good. And I think it was like so ahead of the time.
I'm still thinking about doing them
It was
again.
super
So
entertaining.
Everyone love it. Is the food pic dead?
I don't know. Is it?
What do you guys think?
Susie, when's the last time you take food photos?
Well, this
Yes.
is what I do now. This is what I do now. I don't take food photos. I don't know if I should. Any kind of photo, like even if you see it on Instagram story, it's literally a screenshot of a video.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good these videos on
Mhm.
I love
iPhones
it.
Digital,
are.
so precise.
Take a video, screenshot it, and look at it versus you putting it on photo, clicking it. Look at the difference.
Wow. There you
I
go.
would say yes.
Now we all know.
Yeah. So that's the
Yeah.
You guys still
photos, I
carry a
think.
light?
I do.
You
I
do?
I do, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, Phil, just for me, and
Mhm.
again, because I don't do this for a living and it's a hobby, I feel like because I'm not posting videos or reels, my account is dying. And I can tell. And that's why I haven't even been posting that much anymore. But I think that's just the way of any kind of media.
Mhm.
You know, it's the evolution. And so as things are changing, other people will get pushed out. And you know, and for me that's okay because I feel like my best days are behind me now and I'm always going to have this. You know what I mean? And if I continue to post, and I will, but it won't be as often, it's just going to be because I've always wanted to just post what I feel like I want to share, you know? And I don't go out as much as I used to. I don't go to new places as much. So I don't feel like I have anything to share as often. So that's just the way it is. But I feel like, you know, when I see the evolution of everybody here and how everyone's grown, it just makes me really happy because where we started from zero and to see your success and Emily's success and Paul's success and you know, especially Susie,
Yeah.
you know,
Unbelievable.
I mean, yeah, it just makes me happy that I was even part of that at some point.
I still have to thank Susie because if it wasn't for Susie, like I think she was the first people that told me, "Oh, you're posting a lot of food on your personal account," and I had the story with her, like a personal story. I said, you know, I had family and friends that were telling me, your food content on your personal account is like destroying my diet. It's messing me up every week because I want to eat at all these places. And it wasn't until she told me, hey, you should open your a blog, like a personal food account. And I'm like, what is that? And I looked it up, and I think it was through her that I opened up Ninja the Foodie.
Same here. I don't think I would be on Instagram if Susie. I saw Susie go there, and that's why I went there. I didn't even know Drew then. You know, we were on another app, and we lost our app. It literally went disintegrating, right? So we're like, where do I go? And I think Instagram was the place, and Susie was already there. That's why.
I think, Phil, to answer your question, I'm going to echo what Terry had said. It is a hobby for some of us that we really enjoy doing it. And if you're saying, is the photograph on social media dead? I think it depends on the audience and which platform you're using. Because as Instagram has gone through these changes over these years that really a lot of people are just not happy with because they're trying to compete with TikTok and everything else like that. There's other formats and platforms that have prospered because of that. And I'm going to bring up Facebook. I know that's your mom and dad's little platform where they go to because when you were on Facebook, they were on MySpace. So and they're moving its way up. But I have found with my photography lately, I have got a huge following on Facebook with a lot of middle-aged housewives who's sitting at home and they look at all my food pictures and they just want it. They want recipes. They want everything else along those lines. Don't get that on TikTok, but I do get it on Facebook. So
That's awesome.
I think I think this shouldn't change. If you enjoy it, share it.
absolutely.
However way it is. Pictures, videos, photos, however way it is. And I think, especially now, people have gone to, I mean, they don't think about that as much as, is this going to blow up?
Right.
No.
Is this going to do well? Is
Yeah,
it going to
that's
be
the
received
split,
well?
right?
No,
You know?
just post
Then
it.
you get away from the, hey, I'm doing it because of the enjoyment of sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So I always, and don't get me wrong, I'm just like everyone else. I have my, overthinking thoughts, but I always try to go, did I enjoy this? Can I watch this a month later and it still makes me smile? However way it's shared. And I try to just always keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's a good thing to definitely keep in mind. What do you miss most about those days? Any fondest memories?
I think just hanging out together. Like I always looked forward to the events because I was like, I wonder who's going to be there, and getting to just kind of chat with people about something that you're really interested in. Because a lot of my family wasn't really interested in food, and that's kind of why I was sharing it on social. So it just gave me that outlet.
I think that's true because we were all of the same mindset. It's not like, because like Nins was saying, we all started these accounts because it was separate from our personal, and we found our people, right? People
Yeah.
who were interested in the same things we were, and we didn't have to overthink, I wonder if I'm going to offend them by talking about food or posting about food. We all think the same thing. So when we were together, we were all having this shared love of whatever we were doing, you know. And so I know, you know, the pandemic kind of just ruined that whole group get together thing. So I think that's like what Emily said, you know, getting together and seeing each other on a regular basis.
We didn't feel silly when
Yeah.
you know we went to these events.
Yeah.
In
Because some of
groups.
Right.
some of our friends, if we
Yeah.
dined with them
Right.
and we wanted to take a picture of a dish that
They'd
we
roll
thought
their
was
eyes.
Yeah.
amazing,
Yeah.
What are you
they would be
doing?
like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing?"
Don't embarrass me.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially the food is going to
And
be
you just
cold.
felt
Exactly.
silly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Susie would have dinner with some friends, and she goes, "Hang on, just a second. Let me."
The
Right.
paper.
No one is going to understand
No,
that
they
except
don't-
us.
Board.
Right. Yeah. We didn't have
Check,
to
please.
explain it.
Check.
Yeah.
No, like she would have like extensive amounts of props.
Legendary.
Yes.
There was a lot of standing on chairs.
And it
A
grew
lot.
into that. In the
Yeah.
beginning, we were all shooting on at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want to say is, it's the same now.
Yeah.
You know that I see the same patterns happening
Mhm.
with the, because now I've seen. You know what's actually special about how we started is the actual people, because when you get just right now, yes, we have a really good community together, but those 30 people now versus those 30 people when we started, it's just different crowd.
Mhm.
You know, age
Yep.
difference, and there's a lot of difference between value and what they actually care about the most nowadays than before when there was no money involved in it. There's a lot of things. So what I cherish the most is the time when there was no money in Instagram.
Right.
You know, because we were able to have this group that actually cared about this there versus now a lot of things are changed, but there's a lot of great stuff here too that I really value. The thing that we had was the camaraderie, the people that were involved in. I don't know if we can ever recreate that, and that's the forever friendship that we have, and the structure that we've set that still lives till this day.
Right.
Same
Really
invites,
does.
FOMO.
Mhm.
You want to hear about that one email
Yeah.
that I get
Yeah.
from not getting invited to some event?
Yeah.
That was happening to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you
I
just
know.
can't. People are people.
Right.
Same thing happens when a new thing comes after TikTok. It's gonna happen again.
Yeah.
New people are gonna come in,
Yeah.
and they're all gonna get to go to these events over and over and over again,
Mhm.
and that's gonna create some type of a result and some
Yeah.
type of a click and some type of a way of doing things,
Right.
and that guy's gonna be the main group. It's just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I'm not talking about all the new people that's in our Vegas community, but I have to say, everyone has nowadays they have different goals, different reasons.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
can I just say that these new up and coming groups are very confident.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a nice way to put it?
Very.
Okay.
Very confident.
Okay. I like the
I
politically
totally know what you're
correctness.
saying.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you. Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah, maybe 5 years from now we'll do a TikTok with like Hooked LV and Cody all sitting here. Oh, back in my day. Yeah.
It's gonna happen, guys, and they're all gonna
No,
have.
and I just feel like
We're
we're
not.
really truly in it for the experience. Yes, money changes things.
Of
Yeah.
course.
But in, the
Definitely does.
but in the
Yes.
beginning, we were truly
Yeah.
there for the
'Cause we liked it.
I was
camaraderie.
really shocked when
Yes.
anyone
Yo,
wanted
how
to
many
invite
people
me.
are in it if
Yeah.
there's
I was
no
like,
money
why?
involved in it
Yeah.
right now? Okay, let's say there's 100 guys that are doing content creation in town. If there's zero money involved in it right now and the money goes away, how many
Who would
people are
be
still
there?
in there?
It would still be here.
Exactly.
That's my thing, is that do you really love food and you would really help these
Yeah.
people, or do you
They're
do you
just
like the
following
fame
you.
and the
Making a
glitz and the
business.
events
Yeah.
and the things that we've
Well, that's the thing. I think in the beginning we were also excited. We just said yes to everything.
Mhm.
You know, whether it was
Of
good or
course.
not. I don't
Totally.
know. I
I
don't
don't know
know.
anything.
Is it
Totally.
is it good? I have no idea. But let's go. We're
Yeah.
gonna be together. It's gonna be free.
Yeah.
And
We're gonna eat
now,
cold food.
We'll laugh.
but
we'll
it's
Yeah.
okay.
funny.
Right.
Yeah.
right?
We should go somewhere
yeah,
after for food.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And-
why desserts
I
are
think
Yeah.
I think that's where Yelp kicked in too. Like when we
Yeah.
first started Yelp, going to all these events
Right.
with Yelp. That's what the expectation was too, was to meet people and to just enjoy the company. And we didn't even think about the photos then.
Just find like-minded people.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then we would eat out somewhere after too.
Right.
Go to like Soyo. I don't know.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many in and out trips right after our event because we didn't
Right.
get to enough food.
Right.
You know, it still happens till this day.
Yeah.
But as Susie pointed out, it's what we've enjoyed doing. And I will say that I think part of me during the height of all of your success is when I started pulling back, because it wasn't what I envisioned it to be. I mean, I wanted to go in there and post pictures of food because I enjoyed it, not because somebody directed me or expected me.
Right.
Okay, you had dinner at my restaurant. I expect 3 pictures. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'll
Yeah.
post it if I want to. And when they started controlling me is when I said, this is not me.
Same.
And I'm going to kind of go in to do my own thing, which I've made my own food. I mean, you're doing your own food as well. I enjoy that. I enjoy sharing it. And I think when it came to a point when I went to a restaurant and when you see something that just is not good, or the way they staged or plated their food and you're just trying to help, I think management appreciated you when you were saying, if you put your potatoes at 2:00 and your steak at 6, everything else like that, you would have far better presentation. I think they appreciated that versus you just walking in there, getting a free meal, posting pictures and leaving.
Right.
So it changed for me. And that's why I kind of pulled back.
Yeah.
I think it's partly, I hate to say, but being completely honest, restaurants, the way they approached us or their expectations was partly our fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we went there solely for the enjoyment, but they realized it was for free.
Mhm.
It was
Right.
for free. And here's the thing, like once they start putting expectations of how many posts, how many Instagram stories,
Yep.
how that's when we're like, okay, we thought this exchange for exchange was great. But when you start putting certain expectations on us,
And demand.
then
And demand,
and
yeah.
then to expect everything complimentary. And us, it's the money wasn't the issue.
No.
Then after that, it was the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
our time. And that's one that I have to agree with Andy, is that when they started having that expectation of us,
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's when it became kind of like, hey, this isn't
It's not fun anymore.
it's not fun anymore.
I think that's
Exactly.
when things changed, as Drew
Yeah.
was saying, Amy and Andy. I started getting invites, and it was from places that I would never really
It's not me.
go to. I started to get, I started to actually get
Not my
picky. It's
following
like,
either, right?
Yeah, exactly. Why would I post that? Like, I got approached by a gun store. When have I ever said that I
Okay.
would shoot a gun
Right.
and post
Right.
it? Or
Savor the shooting.
and things like that, and
Just
so you just start to,
Nobody heard that.
you start to become picky, and I think that was like
Yeah.
how things, and like what Susie said, you start to be like pickier, and because now you've created this account that you've nurtured from the beginning,
Mhm.
and you don't want to ruin it by not posting with integrity. I think is the
Right.
thing,
The integrity is a good little topic that can
Yeah.
go on forever too, because me and Drew still talk about how, if you're at least when we started, we weren't getting any money, and everybody had
Yeah.
some kind of a job where we could spend this time together and not make zero money. But think about that guy that's super cash strapped, that's 19 years old, coming into the scene, and they're making a couple $100 a post. It's gonna be hard to regulate any kind of a limitations and like, and you have, again, what I'm talking about, it just happens, the world is abundant, and I think people just do the same thing over and over again. We were charging nothing and doing it for very low. I hate to tell you how much, I started my first account but
All of us.
we still talk about those guys that are out there doing that now.
Mhm.
And I feel like they just got to learn. They just got to get out there and do the things and get 4, 5, 6 years of this under their belt, and it'll come back around. For me, till this day, I think if the cream of the crop will rise, I think the people that are actually going to make it is the people that are actually going to be doing this when the things are tough. Things are good, but if this is not as good anymore, are you still going to be doing this and posting food for restaurants? Because I know I will, you know what I mean? But how many people are going to say that? And I think that's the long game that I'm playing, is that, hey, I'm in it for the food.
Yeah.
Are you?
Right.
Because I'm going to go a long time doing this because of that. I love doing this shit.
I think for my personal account, no matter what, if I'm getting paid, like this is my job, but no matter what, on my account, I'm posting what I like, and I am happy to go and pay for it. I don't need a
Right.
comped meal for me to feel like
100%.
it's worth going on my account.
This is
rather
why
pay.
I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of things that we can say about us 7.
Mhm.
Probably never in the first, let's just say until now, I don't know, but when we were hanging out, I don't think any of us ever reached out to a restaurant saying, hey, I'm this person, I'm gonna come and eat for free. Like, I've never done that.
I've never done that.
there is a notorious group that did walk through
Yes.
town and did that.
It would never
And
have
Chef-
happened to us.
that's right.
And
Yeah. Oh, and we got blamed for it.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
Mhm.
Chef
You
Natalie
pressed
reminds me of
Yes.
every
I
time
got
she
blamed
keeps
for
telling
it.
me.
I
I
got
was
blamed
called
for
out,
it.
and I.
Wait,
And
tell
it
me this
wasn't
again.
even us.
Tell me what was
It
this?
wasn't
What
even
was
us.
Who was it that walked in?
It was
can talk about
was it a
now.
breakfast?
Are we gonna
place?
name names?
It was,
No,
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 it was,
no,
it was,
Let's name names.
it was Eat. It was Eat.
It was
Chef
Eat.
Natalie.
It was that Eat.
Downtown.
Yes.
And I know I was
Who was
called out for. I think was it John Curtis? Someone said that.
Yeah,
I think it was
And
Yes,
I was
it
like, I was not me. I
There
would
was a
absolutely
certain
never do
group
that.
who wanted to eat for
Yeah.
free.
Yes.
No, so Chef at Eat.
Yeah.
posted
Natalie,
on-
yeah.
She posted on her Facebook saying, "Boy, I hate it when these influencers come and ask for free food and expect it.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
I'm not down for that." Basically,
Yeah.
that was the gist.
She didn't
right?
want to be strong-armed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know the
yeah.
name?
Do you
And
remember
then,
the
and
story
then
of
no,
it?
and then people.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't think none of us paid attention to that initial message because we had nothing to do with it.
Right.
But then the comment section started going,
Mhm.
and people tried to narrow down
Who
who
could
this
it
group
be?
was
'Cause
because, of course, Chef didn't say who it was.
So good.
Right.
Who
Okay.
it was,
Who was
right? So people were like
No,
asking.
let's not.
People were asking for
6 years.
details.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, was it this? Was it this? Was it this?" And yeah, so finally, she mentioned a few details. She
Yes.
said, "Well, they were an attractive group, about 7 of them, all with their fancy DSLR cameras, and they came during the day. And afterwards, they took some mural pictures outside,
Right.
you know, Instagram pictures." That literally eliminated
All
all of us.
Yeah.
And the thing,
We don't use DSLR. I don't even have one.
What?
the thing too is they didn't eat any of their food.
No, they didn't, and they just walked out.
They just walked out.
But wasn't there an
Wait,
insider
I still
though,
don't
who
know who
also,
they're
like-
talking about though,
Yeah,
if you tell me
follow-
that.
We'll tell it later afterwards. I'll tell you
well,
who it
we
is.
all know who it is.
You know,
Yes.
I-
We all know who it is, but I'm not going to
Yeah,
name
yeah,
names.
Yeah.
We'll tell you later.
Okay.
This
That'll
is
be-
great.
Yeah.
But
All right,
this
maybe this will be
happens.
a two-parter.
Okay, years after that, there was that random email from a restaurant saying these influencers, blah 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 blah, and they went after a few guys that
Yep.
were in this thread. But in that scenario, all of us kind of like stood together, saying you're wrong. You know,
Yeah.
But it was giving the.
there's some amount of that needs because if a restaurant says that, they can literally blanket cover all of the
Mhm.
people out there. You know,
It still happens now.
I would love to show somebody how much tip that I pay a month,
Absolutely.
and I've never said this I've never said this to anyone. I just want somebody to understand how much Jump Force pays in gratuity a month just for us to be not labeled. And you know what I say to the owners? They always say, "No, you don't have to." No, I do this because there's people that go
Still
and
work,
think
yeah.
that they deserve and they don't tip, and I really want to be separated from that. And
Yeah.
this is why I'm showing you. I'll pay $100 tip, no problem here. Like I do this all the time just
Yeah.
because
You taught me
the
that.
stigma.
I do it all the time too now
Yeah.
because you.
It's just for me that kind of. Whenever I hear that, I get really hurt. Although it wasn't me,
It gives us.
it's
a bad
all of
name.
us.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
affects
You
us
know,
all,
what do
even
you
though we're
mean?
not
like,
the
how
ones
do you
doing
know
it.
how much?
Right.
Like, I would love to show you the last 10 clients that had lined out the door from us that loves our work. Somewhere along the line, there's a disconnect where somebody's taking an advantage. I don't know about it,
Yeah.
and I'm just getting blanket statement of, you know what I mean? I hated that. So
Yeah, I remember you posted. You went to eat like very next day almost, and
Yeah.
posted the stories and
Yeah.
showed your bill and everything.
Yeah. Because it's.
did you
it's just-
really?
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah, I remember
offensive to
this.
me
Yeah.
because, like Emily said, I always pay for my food. I've never said, "Hey, do you know who I am?" Because, like, why would I say that? Nobody knows who I am anyway, you know. But I mean, I think the greatest satisfaction over all the years is when people will say or DM me and say, "Hey, I went to that place that you recommended. I saw your photo, and I went there." Especially if it's a local business, because that's the point,
Yeah.
right? If you have the power to do good with your posts, I think you should, you know, and that is the opposite. What that person, that group of people were doing, and people who do that is the opposite, because you're supposed to be supporting that business, not you know,
Promoting
denigrating
yourself.
them. And right,
Mhm.
Right.
yeah.
That's,
Don't. Why
I
are you
think we're
gonna
out there trying to help, and I'm not thinking necessarily about myself.
Right.
Always. So.
Well, full disclosure, I still do a lot of shit for free. Do you guys?
Yeah.
Like a lot.
How many times do you go to a restaurant because you wanted to go to a restaurant, not because somebody asked you and invited you, and you actually went to the restaurant and paid and didn't pull out your camera? How many times has that happened? More so for me lately because I wanted to enjoy the full experience.
Delilah, it happened to Delilah.
That was full. They won't let you do
Don't
that.
get
So, I mean, that about wraps it up. This was amazing to do. I mean, who would have thought 5 years ago that we'd be sitting in Paul Ryu's social media company doing a fucking podcast? I mean, who would have foreseen all that? Anything you guys want to end off with or last thoughts?
Oh, it was a great idea.
I wish May was here. I wish.
I wish all those
I
guys.
I wish
Shout
a
out
lot of
to
people
all
were
our
here. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should do a two-parter
Yeah.
and have them in here. But yeah,
Drew Belcher's missing.
Yeah.
Drew, for sure. But yeah, thanks to all of you for being here. I know when Las Vegas opens up the History of Social Media Museum in 2060, you guys will have a little corner of that as like IG foodies. And this was super fun. Thanks for all you guys being here.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you
Yeah.
for
Thank
inviting
you.
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
Awesome.
I love every one of you guys.
Aw.
Definitely. This
Thanks for tuning into the Las Vegasville podcast. For more information about me and where I've been dining recently, check out my IG and TikTok at Las Vegas Phil. Feel free to text or leave me a voicemail about anything you want, 702-551-4445. Stay tuned as a new episode of the show debuts every Monday morning.